Welcome to the Business Leaders Legacy Podcast, the show where we go behind the scenes of business leaders to uncover their vision, strategies, and challenges they face along the way. My name is Chris Bruner. I'm the CEO of Simple AI Solutions and the host of today's podcast. Today, I'm excited to have Paty Araiza, founder and CEO of Sales Career Lab. Paty is known for turning founder-led chaos into structured, predictable sales engine, backed by a track record that includes $15 million in revenue, coaching over 100 sales professionals, and building a 75-person sales team from scratch in a single year. She now runs Sales Career Lab out of San Diego, where she helps founders and their teams close the gap between potential and performance. And so, Paty, thank you for being here. I'm excited to jump into your story and to hear more about it. Can you please share with the listeners a little bit about you, your journey, and what Sales Career Lab does?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, especially in this early morning that we're recording this. What do I do? What does Sales Career Lab do? I think Sales Career Lab is the culmination of my entire sales career. I started my sales career working at a startup with absolutely no structure, where we were kind of building as we're flying, as the saying goes. Nobody knew what they were doing. It was everybody's first job out of college, and we were all just trying to figure it out. We raised a bunch of money and needed to build sales. And I took a lot from that experience and learned a lot about what not to do when you're trying to grow a successful sales organization. And from there, took on a sales enablement manager role where I created onboarding programs in a corporate level and realized I really appreciated kind of the craziness and the freedom that working in a startup allowed. And I decided to take a turn and become an entrepreneur. I actually ran a recruiting agency before I started Sales Career Lab. That did not work out, but it led to identifying some gaps in hiring and realizing that there's a big problem a lot of times when people hire because they don't have the structures in place. And so my experience, growing a sales team, quote unquote, successfully and unsuccessfully, I'd say, we've got a 75-person sales team. It was incredible. But then the company wasn't able to hit their metrics. We didn't get more funding. Company doesn't exist anymore. Took that experience along with my experience in recruiting and seeing the gaps that were there constantly, right? Churn over and over again from top performing salespeople and bridge that experience together into what is Sales Career Lab today, which is really helping founders build the infrastructure in place to ensure that when they are hiring, they have the systems basically for their sales teams to be successful. They know what their metrics are. They know their sales playbooks. They, understand all of that, and they can hold their salespeople accountable and know, hey, this is success, this is not success, which a lot of times is missing because they think, salespeople is going to come in and they're going to bring revenue and it's going to be magical and everybody is going to just all of a sudden make a bunch of money, and that's not really realistic. So that kind of sums up, me and Sales Career Lab.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's really cool to hear how your experience led to you starting this and just like where you found yourself. It sounds like, you definitely have a lot of experience, worn a lot of hats, just some of the things, from like an SDR to a team lead to, like you said, sales enablement manager, recruiter, right? And now as a fractional sales leader and founder, which is so cool, really cool. I'm wondering, what really drives the passion behind the work you do?
My mission in life is to empower others to reach their full potential. So every aspect of what I do and every role I've played, and this is professionally and personally, right? Like I'm a mom as well. And so that is my mission in life, is to help my daughter reach her full potential. But as a manager in enablement, I mean, enablement is literally in the name, right? You're enabling people. um, and now in consulting work, it really comes down to that. I want to nurture people and I want to bring the best out of them, whether that's through creating systems, through training, through coaching, through mentorship. that's what really at the core of everything I do, that's my focus.
Yeah, no, that is so cool. It really is. It really, I feel like I can hear the passion. I can see it, like just with, especially just with how much you have done and experience and yeah, it is really cool, really interesting. I'm wondering if you have seen, are there any like new trends or technologies that you're seeing within, the sales consulting, fractional leadership type of industry that you are in? Anything that you're seeing that's just trends, technologies?
I hate to be, repetitive here with what everybody else always says, but AI, I have to say it because it's true. I think there has been a rise, at least, maybe it's one of those things where I'm surrounded by it, so I see it all the time, but I think there's been a rise in consulting and fractional work because of AI, because it's allowed somebody like myself, who I'm practically a solopreneur, but I'm able to run this business because I have this incredible tool to do a lot of the heavy lifting, to help with, for example, company research that would take hours of
Yeah,
me to look through documents, listen to podcasts, whatever it is to do outreach, I can now do it in minutes, right?
yeah,
It's helping me with like crafting contracts and strategy planning, all of that, right? I've created my own like GPTs of things, things are written in my voice to expedite certain things. I could not have done that without AI. And I hear from so many other people that I know within my network who use it and have built. I don't have the caliber of knowledge, I would say, in AI yet that they do, but workflows and things like that have automated their
yeah,
work that allows them to do more consulting, right? Because they
yeah,
don't have to be focused on, the manual aspect of it. They can really be more strategic. And so that's a big trend that I'm seeing.
yeah,
Along with, everybody else who also talks about AI.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that totally makes sense. It really is impacting like so many industries, and so it really is amazing just how much you can like do to help with those like workflows or things that would take so much time in the past just to be able to do and like have a pretty good output that you just need to tweak a little bit here and there. And yeah, no, that really is cool. I'm glad it's working well, and it's hard to stay on top of AI. I feel like even as myself, running an AI agency, it's like there's new stuff coming out all the time. I feel like it's hard for me even to stay on top of it, but it really is making a difference. In a great way. There's a lot of great tools out there. Well, I wanted to ask specifically about Sales Career Lab. On the business side of things, what's working really well right now?
I think one of the things that's been going really well is building relationships. I'm really big in going to networking events, whether that's in person or virtual, or connecting with people and just having conversations. I mean, this is a great example of that. And building connections, like genuine relationships, not just transactional. It's led to not only business, but mentorship, which, I'm starting out. This is my second business, but it's less than a year old. And the first time doing consulting. So there's so much that I don't even know I don't know. And being able to have this incredible community of support that I've built around myself has been really, really helpful because I can tap into different arenas for help in different questions, ideas, or even referrals as well. And so that's something that's worked really, really well for me. And I'm trying not to get burned out because I go to way too many events sometimes in a week.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Yeah, that's awesome. That is really cool. It's awesome to have that like support of people that just are able to help. I can totally relate to that. On every business goes through challenges. I'm wondering if maybe you can share a past challenge that you have been able to overcome and what you learned through that experience.
I think one of the biggest challenges that I've gone through slash am learning and going through is letting go. I feel like I had a really hard time. I just recently hired a marketing company and I had a really hard time making that jump because I was afraid. And this is like my own personal beliefs on, this is my business, it's my brand, it's, my voice, my messaging. Like I want to make sure that every piece of content, of email, is of whatever it is written by me, even if it is, maybe some edited version of a GPT I built to help me with it. And that was very, very hard to let go and say, okay, I can't do it all. I do need, other people's help. And so, taking that leap and hiring the marketing company, and they've done a really great job in taking some of the things I really shouldn't be working on, like, spending a bunch of time on website edits,
Yeah.
and, writing meta tags. I have a lot more important things to do. And I'm continuing to work on that and looking to, hopefully hire here some virtual assistants and continuing to work through that challenge of what is it that I actually should be spending and focusing my time on.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing when, you're like, it's my business, right? So
Yeah.
learning to let go of to do it well, it has to be done by me. That's not necessarily a true statement.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is definitely, I feel like every business owner, I feel like comes to that point where it's like, oh, like not wanting to let go, but yeah, no, it's really interesting. It's really cool to hear how you are growing and have been able to, you know, let go of that a little bit and hire that marketing agency. I was wondering, just to talk a little bit about, like currently what's going on. Are there any like current challenges you're facing? Anything, for example, of like any like bottlenecks or things taking up too much time on the business side, or anything like that as you are building your business?
I think it goes along with that kind of aspect of letting go and trusting a little bit. I probably spend way too much time on LinkedIn DMs than I should, just from a growth and moving the needle perspective, where I'm creating my own bottleneck by trying to over perfect the perfect message or the perfect LinkedIn post, or even just feeling like, oh, I don't want to focus on this, strategic thing or this planning or anything. So I'm just going to reply to LinkedIn DMs. And I know that that's probably one of the biggest pieces slowing me down. And the challenge of also realizing like it's okay to let people wait. And, I don't have to respond to everything right away. Nobody's expecting, nothing is that urgent. And I can focus on the, critical, important stuff and get to, the messages and the emails and all that stuff later, so I can continue to move the business. Because I can be doing that all day and never get anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, no, I feel like I can totally relate. It's so easy to get caught up in those things, but yeah, staying focused on those things that actually, like you said, actually move the needle, is so important. I wanted to shift and talk a little bit about the future and like goals. And so when you think of like the next like 6 months to a year, what is a goal you're focused on achieving within your business?
Yeah. One of my big major goals for the year is to have a fractional role client where I'm fully integrated into their team in like a part-time function for a year, where I really get to see the full implementation of everything that I've kind of focused on and build from. Let's start building your playbooks, your CRM, getting that set up. Let's focus on hiring the salesperson, building the onboarding program, and then going off and training and coaching and developing that salesperson. I'd love to see that kind of completed. Right now, I've done consulting kind of in fragmented sections of like, oh, they need help with this training or they need help with this. And so one of my goals is to be able to have a client that hires me on for the whole experience, which I think would be most beneficial for the both of us. And getting to see that play out completely on my end, I think will also be very rewarding.
Yeah. No, totally. When you think about, you know, reaching that goal, like what I guess like what plan do you have in place? Like, are there specific, I know, when you think of like specific like hiring staff or tools or strategies, I know you had mentioned like you recently brought on a marketing agency, but is there anything specific you're putting in place right now to achieve that?
Yeah, the marketing agency is huge part of it. All before, all I've done has been cold outbound myself with either events or LinkedIn or a little bit of emails. Now I just got my website redone with SEO. It's in the process of it getting completely finished. So having people find me, we're working on creating a CEO roundtable to bring CEOs together as part of a community who are in that stage of hiring, because even if they're coming from different industries, a lot of times they're facing the same challenges. And so obviously I can help, but there's things that they can help each other. So that's one of the big things. I'm also working on my own messaging in terms of what does it look like to really make the recommendation consistently of let's bring me on from the beginning to the end, and as opposed to more of the a la carte kind of messaging I currently have with my business of like, yeah, I can help with this, and if you need help with this, right? So I'm working on that currently to ensure that the positioning of that is more upfront, and I'm leading with that.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's exciting. Lots of great stuff that's getting worked through, and I feel like like the foundation is being built really to, really expand and take off. So that's really exciting.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so are there like when you think about like, how you're gonna navigate those goals, are there any like, specific challenges that might need to be solved to reach that regarding like, the outreach or the marketing or anything like that you foresee?
It's a good question. Um, there's only a limited amount of time, right? So I'd have to look
Mm.
into, hiring and taking care of more of the administrative side of the business, which is something I'm looking for as well. I think one of the other bigger challenges that I've been kind of facing is industry focus. Like, do I focus on a certain industry? I have
Yeah.
experience kind of in like the medical space because I used to work at a company where we sold to doctors. And then my
Mm.
last consulting engagement was for a medical device company. But is that where I want to be? And so I think kind of overcoming that challenge and really becoming more of a subject matter expert on one specific industry and deciding what that industry would be instead of, necessarily right now just targeting CEOs in growth stage of hiring, being more specific to understanding where they're at and their situational challenges within their industry. So that's something I'm kind of working through and still trying to figure out that'll probably make more of an impact in terms of getting to where I want to be.
Yeah. No, that is exciting. That really is. It definitely like niching down. I can see how that can definitely bring more of, it's always weird to think about like targeting to less people, and outreaching to less people, but you do bring a good point, right? It does make you more of a subject matter expert. So yeah, it's definitely cool to see you just navigating through this and building your business, and yeah, it's super exciting. Patty, I've really enjoyed the conversation we've been able to have. I think a lot of the things that you've brought are super interesting. Hearing about your business, hearing just about how you help your clients and just what you do. It's super interesting. I before we go, I'd love to give you an opportunity to share with the listeners where they can find out more about you, stay involved with what's going on with Sales Career Lab, and just learn about you and your programs.
Yeah, salescareerlab.com. That's my website. You can check it out there. We're still working on it, so give me a little bit of grace. But it is what it is for this point. You can still see it, learn a little bit more, and book time with me if you're curious about learning more about what it is that I do. Otherwise, LinkedIn, I basically live on that, as I mentioned, just my name, Paty Araiza, and you should be able to find me, for anybody listening, pretty easily because I spell my name with only one T, so it's just Paty on LinkedIn, and connect with me. I'd love to, hear that you found me through this podcast. It would be awesome.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you again. To close, I would like to ask one last question. Since this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast, and you being a business leader, the founder, CEO of Sales Career Lab, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Relates back to my mission of empowering others to reach their full potential. I want every interaction that I've had with every person, right? Because even though I work with companies, at the end of the day, they're made of people, to feel that they have dignity and worth. And that's it. I would say the biggest thing, that they are more than where they are. And to see that somebody sees them with that dignity and worth.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That really is cool. It is. Well, thank you so much, Paty. I really appreciate you just sharing and talking about your business. And yeah, I really am thankful. To all of our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our conversation, please subscribe. Please go check out Paty and what she's got going on at Sales Career Lab. Thank you again. We will see you next time. Thank you, Paty.
Thank you.